Okay guys, so today we're going to do linear relationships, so you should be on page 38 in your notebook. And this particular problem we had 53% of students miss, but you guys are going to get this one right. So let's take a look and practice. So we are talking about an equation. You see the equation right up here. And with this equation, we can use our formula chart and look at the very top of the formula chart. You know which equation we're using. So it says linear equations, and then it says slope-intercept form. So we are using y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if you think back to when we taught this concept to you, we always talked about 3 steps for these problems. So the first step was always your y-intercept. So our y-intercept is our b, okay? So y-intercept, and it's the value of y when x is 0, okay? So that is the first thing that we always do. So step 1 is your y-intercept. Okay, so if we look at these tables here, I am looking for an x value of 0. So here I have 0, 0, 0, 14, 0, 14, and 0, 14. In my equation, it says plus 14. So this 0, 0 is wrong, so I can eliminate A. All right, the second step is my M. My M is my rate of change. So when we are looking at a graph, it goes uphill for a positive M or downhill for a negative M. If we're looking at a table, we are looking for our Y values. If our Y values are getting bigger, like they are here, then it's positive. So they're all getting bigger. So they all have a positive M. Okay, so that doesn't help us eliminate anything. So that's step 2, rate of change. And then step 3 is substitution. So substitution is where you choose an x value and you place it in for x. So I'm going to look, and it looks like 10. They all have different numbers for 10. So I'm going to put 10 in here instead of x. So I have 0.5x plus 14 equals y. So I have 0.5 times 10 plus 14. So 0.5 times 10 gives me 5, plus 14 is equal to 19. So I am looking for an x value of 10 and a y value of 19. So this is x and 10 and 15. This is 10 and 64. Here is 10 and 19. So my answer is C. Okay. So if we go through our numbers, it says number 1 says the problem gives you the equation and 4 tables. So the equation was y equals 0.5x plus 14. And it says you are to choose the table that contains only values that make the equation. So true or false, and that is true. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and look at what each of these students thinks. Okay, so Ricardo thought that the equation was in y equals mx plus b. That's exactly what we did. So he found the slope, and that is a term that we use in 8th grade. So it was rate of change. And so sorry, we're going to just go ahead and skip this part. All right. So next, we're going to go down to our guided practice, and we are going to take a look at this table here. Let's see. Okay, so for this table, again, we're going to start with our y-intercept. It says which equation best represents the values in the table. So step one, we're going to do our y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. Okay, don't get thrown off by this 0 here. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking for x of 0. So my y-intercept is 0, -4. Okay, so if I write my equation, y equals mx plus b, then the b has to be -4. Okay, so I see that here and here. So I can eliminate G and H. Okay, so the second step is my rate of change. And that is my M. Okay, and let's see, as my x gets bigger, this is getting bigger as well. So it's a positive M, but both of these are positive, so we're good there. So we're going to go on to step 3, which is substitution. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to go with 15. So if I plug it in for f, I have 1/2 times 15 minus 4. So half of 15 is 7.5 minus 4 is 3.5. That does not match, so hopefully it's J. So I'm going to again plug in 15. So 1/3 times 15 minus 4. So 1 times 15 is 15, divided by 3 is 5. 5 minus 4 is equal to 1, which is correct. So J is my answer. Okay. All right, so we are going to go ahead and continue our practice. All right, so I will do one, let's see, you guys are going to be able to do this independent practice piece by yourself, so you can do that one, but I want to go ahead and do a graph with you, okay? So when we look at a graph, we're following the same exact steps that we were before. Oops, so step 1 is my y-intercept. Darn it, sorry. Y-intercept. Okay, so with our colored pencil, we should be going down the y-axis. We are looking for where that point, where the line goes through the y-axis, our colored line. It's going through at 1, right? So it's 0, 1. So if I have my equation, y equals mx plus b, I should have positive 1, okay? So I can eliminate these two options here. Okay, step 2 is my rate of change. So I'm looking at it if it is going uphill or downhill from left to right. So if I was walking on this line, I'm going uphill. Okay, so I have a positive M. So both of these are positive, so we're good there. So we're going to go to step 3. So step 3 is substitution. So I'm going to just choose a point on the line where it goes through exactly. So this one looks good to me. So my x value is 8. My y value is 3. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 8. So I have, let's see, I don't like fractions, so I'll start with the whole number. 4 times 8 plus 1. So 4 times 8 is 32 plus 1 is 33. And it should be just 3, right? So that's not right. Then I have 1/4 times x, so times 8 plus 1. So 1/4 times 8. So 1/4 times 8 over 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I have 2 plus 1 equals 3. Well, that matches. So this is the correct equation for the graph. All right, so you are going to do some of these other problems. So you are going to do, let's see, I will show you which ones. So you're going to go ahead and do this one on your own and the second graph. So those are all on page 39. And then you're going to go to page 40 and 41. Okay, so this here is page 40. All right, and you can do all of those on page 40. And on page 41, you're going to skip these two in the middle, as well as this one. You can probably do this one at the bottom. Okay. All right, so that is your assignment for today. If you finish, you're going to go to the back of the room and get your mock STAAR test, and we're going to have you text code 5 specific problems. But make sure that we check your work first. All right, go ahead and get started.